I've got 2 different Hooters live reads. We about ready to go?
We are live with Locked On Astros.
Hey, what's up, everybody? Thank you for tuning in to Locked On Astros. Tonight, we talk about what is going on with the trade deadline, what is Dana Brown saying, and where are the Astros going from here? They still behind the Rangers, but that's okay. I think they're going to catch ground soon. Let's talk about it tonight.
Alvarez hits a high drive center field. Beer leans back. This game is turned upside down. There's the runner. Fly ball down the right field line. Tucker comes on. Kyle Tucker. This time they finish the job.
Hello and welcome to Locked On Astros, your daily Astros podcast. Here are your hosts, Eric the Man Huysman and Brett H-Town Wheelhouse Chancey.
We are Locked On Houston Astros, and we hope that you join us for a daily Locked On Astros podcast. My name is Eric Huysman. You can find me on Twitter at Eric Talks Stros. Find the show at Locked On Astros, your team every day. Brett, where can you find you at?
They can find me at H-Town Wheelhouse on Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok. They can find me at Stros411 on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook. Always positive, always Stros.
Wrong, sir. You're supposed to say I'm in Dallas and I am sporting my Locked On Astros shirt everywhere I go, sir. Wear that with proud your Astros hat because the Astros are still awesome team and everything. So, guys, thank you for making us the awesome podcast that you make us. Thank you for being an everyday or somebody that watches our show every day, whether it's on YouTube. Go and subscribe to us. Go and give us a big fat thumbs up and go and give us a first listen on Apple, Odyssey, Spotify, wherever you check out our podcasts. Go and make it on, go and listen to Locked On Astros podcast. So we got a few days, like 4 days, I guess 3 days if you're counting tomorrow on Friday. So we got 3 days before the trade deadline. Where are the Astros? What do they need as the trade deadline approaches? And what did the Angels do that kind of shocked the world yesterday? That's something we're going to talk about. Also, the Guardians and the Dodgers made a trade. I could see the Astros making a similar trade. And we'll talk about that trade in a little bit. And also, we put out a question. What trades ideas would y'all have? So we're going to go ahead and put out some of those trade ideas. And we're also going to look ahead towards the Rays series. So a lot to discuss on this episode of the Locked On Astros podcast. So let's go and get started. Dana Brown, the new Astros GM, is he's kind of shifted gears several times. At first, he was like, main thing we need is a lefty hitter. Now he's kind of going to, we need a starting pitcher, somebody to eat some innings. But now it seems like the focus is the bullpen too, because we've seen the bullpen falter a little bit. You're relying on the same guys a lot. Seth Martinez didn't have a super great day the other day. The bullpen as a whole didn't have a super great day. I guess Framber Valdez didn't have a great day. The Astros didn't have a great day. So Brett, before we go into the comments, what are your thoughts on what the Astros need?
They need another arm. I mean, that's all there is to it. They need to go to a 6-man rotation, but who is that 6th man? And they lack that right now. They need that. They need a starting pitcher. I honestly think the bullpen, for all intents and purposes, is ultimately fine. And then I think they need to get another bat. I know Altuve and Alvarez came back, but if you're going to trade, you're going to probably have to give up somebody. And so I think top priority should be starting pitching. It sucks that Giolito went to the Angels. It's unbelievable to me that they are delusional enough to think that they're going to make the playoffs and do something with Ohtani. I'm sorry. I mean, good for them, but I don't know that many people believe in what Artie Moreno is doing over there. I know Ohtani turned it up another level. He put on the cheat code today and hit 2 home runs in his second game, threw a complete game in the first game, and just doing out of this world stuff. But he's one person. So back to the Astros. The Astros need a starting pitcher, period, end of story. Framber looks tired. Javier looks tired. These rookies, other than JP France, who has really become the ace of this club. And really, if it weren't for JP France and his starts and his quality starts, the Astros are probably a lot further behind the Rangers than 2 games at this point. So you need somebody other than a rookie stepping up right now, because right now the veterans are struggling.
Right. And kind of go off your point a little bit. If it wasn't for JP France, the Astros may be looking for 2 starters at the trade deadline, not just one.
True,
so we'll see. But Dana Brown said we're in touch with almost every club, particularly the ones that are out of the race. But right now, we just don't know how it's going to play out because there's so many buyers and there's few sellers. We don't know right now, but we're very active. He said they're very optimistic and that they'll get something. And the price tag was early was high for non-rentals, somebody like a Dylan C. So they're all playing a waiting game. So players like Lucas Giolito, maybe even Snell, we'll talk about him in a second, but we'll talk more about what the Padres are doing too. But he says that players like that, it could potentially cost you prospects. And one of those things we have to monitor closely. Do you want to mortgage the future for a rental? The Angels did. And is it going to pay off? We'll talk about that soon. But also, he talked a little bit about Dusty. I know Dusty Baker has been on a lot of Astros fans' minds recently. But he said, they said, well, somebody asked him, would you trade somebody off the major league roster without consulting Dusty? And he said, I don't want to say it can't happen. It could. But nothing will be done without Dusty's input because Dusty's running this team day to day, and he's been doing a great job. So
nothing will happen without Jim Crane's consent. He's the only one that has to approve this. If Jim Crane wants it, he doesn't give a crap what Dusty thinks. I'm sorry. I'll just be real honest. Dusty Baker does not run the team. Jim Crane does. And so Dana Brown's playing nice. Look, if Dana Brown and Jim Crane feel like they need to trade somebody, they may get Dusty's input, but if they think it's what puts the team in a better position, their decision is going to trump Dusty's. He's not the high man on the totem pole here.
Right.
You see what I'm saying?
I saw the other day, though, that somebody said that Jim Crane said that Dana Brown has complete control here. He can go out there and do whatever he wants to do. He even said that they can take on a player with a larger contract. And then next year, there's even more space, but I'm not sure if we're going to be acquiring that type of player that's going to require eating up a lot of our budget. Hence, Max Scherzer or Justin Verlander. So we'll see about that.
And I think that's what Jim Crane should say, and I think that's what most owners would say. But just from talking to people over the years about the way Jim Crane operates, the way he runs his business, the way he runs the Astros, there's no way that Jim Crane isn't like, I need to know what you're doing. Like Dana Brown's just not going to go out there and make a trade without Jim Crane's approval. Jim Crane is a billionaire.
Money-wise,
pocketbook. Yeah,
right.
Dana Brown's also go, oh, by the way, Jim Crane, call him in the morning. Last night, we decided to make it. No, I
don't want to wake you up, Jim. So I just went ahead and made the trade. So, yeah, we got Blake Snell now. And so, surprise. So
right. Yeah. No, look, I mean, at the end of the day, between now and the trade deadline, it may be painstakingly boring. It may not be very. I was shocked when the Angels announced. I was like, oh, here we go. Another attempt at the Angels. It's like, what have they been doing these other 5 years that they've had Ohtani? Like, why are they just now going to emergency mode? Oh, crap. He's leaving. We better show him we care. So you care now? Okay, whatever. I'm not buying it.
Yeah, so to close out the whole Dana Brown comment section, he says our top 3, Valdez, Javier, and Brown, are really good, and France has been outstanding. So you take our 3 big horses, then you put France in the mix, and then you get Urquidy back. Maybe you just add someone else that can give you some innings. That could be very sustainable. I think you need to add somebody more than just somebody that can just give you a little bit of innings. I think you need to go out there and get a number 2 pitcher because Hunter Brown is good. I think he's going to be great. This year, he's just not the same pitcher he was in the small sample size last year.
Why isn't JP France our number 2 guy right now, currently speaking, right?
Yeah.
I mean, Framber 1, JP 2.
He's pitching
Javier
like
3. I mean, he is pitching like it.
He's the most reliable guy out there right now. You're right.
And that's a good thing. He's taking it on. So Yeah, man. To me, just starting pitching is a big concern. The bats of Jordan and Altuve will come around, and they seem to be the right fit for the Astros right now. And that's really, they're kind of copying out a little bit, saying that's a big trade deadline move. Yeah, okay. But look, if you need the right parts, the right fit, the right prices, you need to go to eBay Motors. Why? Because for a championship team, it's all about making sure every player is a perfect fit. And it's the same when it comes to your vehicle. Every part needs to fit just right. So the next time you need parts and accessories, head to eBay Motors. With eBay Guaranteed Fit, you can be sure every part you need fits just right the first time around. You just add your ride to My Garage and look for the green check to know that your part will fit or your money back. Because just like in sports, confidence is the name of the game when you shop at eBay Motors. And with over 122 million parts to choose from, you'll be back in the game in no time. After all, it's easy to bring home a win when the right parts are guaranteed. Get the right parts, the right fit, and the right prices on ebaymotors.com. Let's ride. eBay Guaranteed Fit, only available to U.S. customers. Eligible items apply. Make sure that you tune in to the Tampa Bay Rays Friday night, 7:10 p.m. Central Standard Time. Catch every pitch of the Astros versus Rays hometown broadcast for the Houston Astros with Sirius XM on the SXM app. Search Astros.
Okay, I'm going to go out on a limb here and say that I don't think Dana Brown is fibbing or anything. I think he's being overly open for a reason. I think this is strategic. I think this is, he started off saying they need a bat, then they need a starting pitcher. Now that he's kind of going out and saying they need a bullpen. That way teams are not knowing that, oh, well, this team is going to go all in for this one player. So that way, I think this is kind of a smokescreen. I think this is planned. I know that he said he's going to be kind of open as a GM, but I think as he goes, he knows he's going to learn that that's probably not the best negotiation tool, because if everybody knows what you need, they're going to know what you're going to go after. And they'll like the Rays or the Yankees or whatever teams are going out there to get that starter. Let's say it's Dylan Cease, because he just basically said, we would love to have a starter that has years of control left. That is Dylan Cease. And so that means that one of their primary targets is going to be Dylan Cease. So that sets other teams be like, okay, well, I know the Astros are going after him, so I got to outbid the Astros. And so, but what Dana Brown is doing now is he's saying, okay, I don't want everybody to know exactly what we're targeting. So we'll see what happens there. And I do think that in terms of taking on additional money, if Justin Verlander, depending on the right price, if you need to take on some of that salary, I think the Astros would do that to bring him back home. And I think Justin Verlander would want to come back to Houston.
Oh, yeah. I mean, he definitely would. I mean, he wants to get the heck out of New York. The Mets are a freaking, they're a disaster. They are a dumpster fire of an organization that spent a ton of money, and they're not doing crap with it. So, yeah, he's got to be miserable right now.
Right.
And he actually put in, I think he put in a really good start recently, but lately, most of the year, he hasn't been great. Remember when in 2016, and I talked about this with Trevor the other day, his career was pretty much over. Everybody was like, he's done. And then what did he do? He came to the Astros and reinvigorated his career and won 2 rings. I'm not saying he's going to come back and win 2 more rings, but what I'm saying is if he can come in and be durable enough to go through the year, which I think he is because he pretty much is pitching on a new elbow, Justin Verlander provides the veteran presence that you need on the mound and can go 6-7 innings for you each start.
Right. So if the Astros are going to be going after a bullpen target, there are some names out there like Chris Stratton. You can go with Kenyon Middleton, Kyle Finnegan. You can also go with Brooks Raley, Brett Sutter, Brad Hand, Sam Maul. There are some left-handed trade candidates. I know the Astros technically don't need a left-handed reliever, but those are some guys that you go after. I would kind of like Kyle Finnegan from the Nationals. He throws in the 100s, and I think that he would be perfect. He has some closing experience. I know that his ERA is a little bit higher. If I don't have his numbers in front of me, but I think that he would be a good addition.
Cal
Middleton.
Finnegan is a 4-3 with a 3.16 ERA right now.
Maybe I was thinking about last year. He had bad numbers.
Well, no, he's got 14 saves, 42.2 innings pitched, 41 strikeouts, 1.24 WHIP. That's not a bad name to throw out there. You're talking about just to go out there and trade for with the Nationals there.
Yeah, and if you just have to give them like one player for one player, like if you look at the Dodgers trade, I know this is that's kind of what I was going to do next. Oops, pulled something else up, but Noah Syndergaard was basically traded for Ahmed Rosario, and so that's basically one major league player for another major league player, and that's kind of what Dana Brown was talking about. We may have to trade somebody off our major league roster to get somebody from that. I know before the show, you mentioned the possibility of having to include Brian Abreu. Not that we want to, but because he could be converted to a starter or he could stay in bullpen and become somebody's closer down the road. But Noah Syndergaard, after being with the Angels last year, we're actually going to see him when we face the Guardians pretty soon at Minute Park. So
he has been, though, he's not been good for a while.
No.
He's not a very he's like probably one of the worst.
His good days.
Eric, you're being nice. He's not good. He is not a good major league pitcher. When I saw that he was traded for, the problem with Finnegan is on MLB trade values, he has like a 9.1 value. So you're talking about like a Jake Myers type of player. Who's around a 10 or a 13 if you're going to have to overpay,
I would do that
to get him. Huh?
I would do that for somebody with experience and somebody could throw
Jake Myers for Finnegan. I know a lot of people that would trade Jake Myers. Jake Myers is on everybody's S list. I don't know why. I mean, he actually.
No, we're not trading for Noah. I just want to. We're not saying trade for Noah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh no. Why would no? We're not. No. Eric doesn't. No, Eric does not want Noah. Let me be clear. I'm not saying that because he wants Noah. I'm just telling Eric that I was surprised. Like when I saw him in the trade, I was like, dude, Thor has not been good for a minute. So
he's 1-4 with the 7.16 ERA this year. Ahmed Rosario, I drafted him thinking he was going to be my shortstop in one league this year. It's been a disaster. This is hopefully a change of scenery will fix both of them. But yeah. So
you would think with my record in our fantasy league that I had Ahmed Rosario. I inherited a team and this team sucks, bro. Anyways, I digress. So can I put up one of these trades that I have for,
sure. We'll save the Angel stuff for the third segment.
Okay, cool. So let me just show y'all. This is something that I'm going to show you one that someone proposed as a listener, and I'm going to show you one that I proposed to the Padres. Okay, this is from a listener, Eduardo Rodriguez and Jace Jung for Corey Lee and Jake Myers. Okay, Jace Jung is the number 2 guy. He is actually the brother of his brother plays for the Rangers. He was a Texas Tech Red Raider. He hit the cover off the ball in NCAA Division I, and he has high potential now for the Astros' future and a future second baseman. If Altuve is coming to the end of his tenure and he's in AA now, that may be a good move. But I think for this, again, I'll put it up one more time. For this, Eduardo Rodriguez and Jace Jung, I think it's going to take more than Corey Lee and Jake Myers. What do you think? I think value-wise right now where they're at, they match up on that trade calculator, but do you think the Tigers would demand more, especially if they're getting up their number 2 prospect?
I would think that possibly you can get a reliever and take away the prospect because they're not going to be trading away.
Okay,
a prospect. So take away the number 2 prospect or whatever that guy was. It keeps on going.
Yeah,
John.
There you go.
Take away that. They're not going to trade away their number 2 prospect, but if you go ahead and possibly take on one of their relievers and somebody that's maybe a rental or somebody that's got some maybe a year left or something, that could be a good trade, I would say.
Okay,
not a bad idea.
Okay. So let me give you one that I was thinking of because this is kind of a hybrid of 2 different trades that I saw, and I put one together. And this is for Snell and for Hader. Both are rentals. Okay, but the price is going to be higher, like you and I discussed pre-show. But this is what I put up there: Jose Urquidy, Corey Lee, Misael Tamarez, and Joe Perez. Now, I could interchange Misael Tamarez for another pitcher that maybe has a little more upside. I'm not going Spencer Arrighetti there, but those four right there for Josh Hader and Blake Snell. Jose Urquidy and Corey Lee being the main ones in that trade. That those two values match up. Again, the only thing I have to go off of is that MLB trade simulator. Okay. I don't have any other real numbers to crunch or a computer to run it through, but that is really what it's going to take. Do you think it would take more? I mean, look, my guy Jalen hooked me up. He said, hey, that's not a bad trade. Thank you. Now, I'm not saying it's perfect. I'm not saying it would work, but Eric, do you think it would take more from Houston or higher leverage guys?
Well, if you look at what the Angels did, they traded for Lucas Giolito and they gave up 2 prospects, and one of them is I think it was like the 61st or 67th overall prospect in baseball. So that's for 1 rental. You're asking for 2 rentals. So I think that yes, you don't want to trade your best prospects for rentals, but it's going to take a little more than that.
Well,
you're going to have to. Urquidy is not a bad idea. Corey Lee's not a bad idea, but I think you're going to have to give up one of your more. I know. What was the other guy? Tamaris is. I think he's the 11th overall prospect, and
Tamaris.
And then who was the other guy?
Here, let me
Joe Perez.
Joe Perez. Yeah. And it could be any position player. I mean, it could be
so
someone
that's 11 and 14. So that's I see what you're trying to do there. I just
in other words,
it's going to take somebody else, I think a little bit higher.
Okay. Well, because the reason why I like Urquidy as a headliner is because he's got 2 years he's got 2 years of control after this year.
Right.
And then he's an unrestricted free agent. And this year, he only got paid $3 million. So he is a guy that's going to be healthy for the most part, that's going to throw strikes and is going to give you innings. And he has postseason experience. He's the winningest international pitcher in Major League Baseball history in the World Series with 3-0 record. So, and these are the things we're having to juggle. Let me show you one other thing that someone had presented to me. And I believe it was this one right here. Blake Snell for Corey Lee, Jake Myers, and Pedro Leon. That to me is a lot to pay for a rental. But do you think it's going to take something like that, 2 or 3 players, to get a rental like Blake Snell?
I think maybe throwing Jose Urquidy to that last deal, and you can probably get both.
4 for 1?
No, for with Blake Snell and Hader.
Okay.
So I think it's going to take something like that, where it's more of future impact, current impact. I think that's what it's going to take.
So maybe Leon instead of Perez.
Yeah, I would think so.
Okay. And see, look, folks, this is why we discuss this on here, because nobody really knows. And look, we could literally probably spend 3 hours talking about variables of trades, but
like
we're not
Hooters
going to do that.
Doing it right.
We're not going to do that, boys and girls. But listen, today's episode is brought to you by Hooters. And if you do not have a place to hang out and watch Astros games, well, my first question is, why haven't you gone to Houston area Hooters? Whether you're in Sugar Land, whether you're in Galveston, Seabrook, NASA area, you can be in Katy, Humble, Sugar Land. I mean, look, wherever you are in the Houston area, there is a Hooters nearby. They have great wings, great brew, and fun to be had by all. That's right. Come out and see what the Hoot is all about with the world famous Hooters girls. Mondays, buy one, get one wings. Tuesdays, $9.99 burgers and fries. Wednesdays, buy one, get one boneless wings. Thursdays, $19.99 wings and Big Daddy bundle. Friday, $19.83 crab legs. $3 Blue Moon drafts every day. $9.99 Michelob Ultra pitchers. No matter the occasion, Hooters is ready to make you happy. And don't forget, there is still a toy drive. You still have a few days left. The Toys for Tots toy drive at Pearland Hooters going on through the 31st. Check that out. They are going to have a big cookout on August 5th. Ain't no thing but a chicken wing tailgate. Bring your cook team, register them for that August 5th date with the NASA Hooters, and then Ditch Day bus trip Thursday, August 24th versus the Red Sox. Check them out. Go sign up and go to the game with the world famous Hooters girls. Why? Because Hooters makes you happy. And the Astros play the Tampa Bay Rays Friday, 7:10 p.m. Central Standard Time. Every pitch of the Astros hometown broadcast with SiriusXM on the SXM app. Search Astros.
I'm going to say that 2-4 a trade, that would be a good starting point. So if you want to call the Padres and say Dana Brown calls them and say, hey, how about this? I think that would be a good starting point, but I think they're going to do exactly what we do. Well, I don't really value this player as high as I value this player. And so that's the whole, you have to have a starting point. And I think that would be a good starting point. And so that's probably what the Padres are trying to decide right now, because they are looking to actually be buyers right now, but they're also looking to trade Juan Soto.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, they're like, this whole Juan Soto thing, we know we're not going to be able to, like, this dude's going to want a lot of money. And this is weird. A player of Juan Soto's talented kind of being ping-ponged around the league. It's kind of strange. It makes you appreciate the fact that we do have Kyle Tucker. And if we aren't going to sign Kyle Tucker, at least we have him for another 2 years under control, But, dude, I can't imagine being in those shoes. You have someone like Juan Soto, and you're like, well, we might as well trade him and get something for him, and because they made a massive trade to get him,
Right.
And Abrams has actually turned out to be pretty decent. Kyber Ruiz, actually, that was the Dodger trade, but yeah, all their guys they traded haven't really panned out, so that's really kind of worked in their favor ish.
Yeah,
but.
Yeah,
anyway.
we'll see. But the Angels are the team. I know we're worried about catching the Rangers right now, but the Angels are definitely trying to make a sales pitch for Shohei Ohtani. Not in off season. They're trying to do it now. And they already told him, hey, we don't want to trade you. They said they didn't get any competitive trade offers. And they basically said, we're not trading you. What does he do? He goes out and hits his 37th home run of the season, and he also has a complete game shutout in the same game. When does that happen? This is just such an impressive player. And so what the Astros are doing is...
Did you break another bobblehead?
No, that was just my ring light falling down off my thing. So anyway.
Your face was great.
So, yes. But my point was the Angels feel like if they can make it to the playoffs this year, that would be a good way to keep Shohei Ohtani on the team. And before the show, Shohei Ohtani actually wants to stay in Anaheim, contrary to all the popular belief that he wants to go to play for the Dodgers. So he wants to see some winning. He wants to get a taste of the postseason because he's seen the Astros go to the postseason so many times, just like Marcus Semien has. And so he just wants to go ahead and experience that.
Imagine for me a world where the AL West has 3 teams in the playoffs and the Yankees miss the playoffs. Oh my gosh. Yankees fans' heads are going to explode. Right now the Angels are behind. They're like 3 games out of the wild card. So they're not completely out of it, but they're still, they are 54-49. Look, who knows, man? Who knows? We still got our work cut out for us. I think our focus is squarely on the Rangers. We can't worry about who's behind us. You've got to be looking ahead. And I still like our chances taking back first in the West. And look, Eric, we win 1 game in Arlington this next series, we win the silver boot because we're up 6-4. If we win 1, we're up 7-4. They only have 2 more games. We would win that 7-6, even if they won the last 2. That would mean we would win a tiebreaker if a tie happens to happen. So that's important. You get 1 win, a must win the first game when you go to Arlington later on in the year, and then you let the other 2 take care of themselves. Of course, you want to get 2 of 3. You want to win the series, but I think we're going to meet the Rangers in the playoffs, whether ALDS or ALCS. And you want to talk about tensions, Eric, and you weren't here for that one. The tensions are rising, bro. Like, it's gone to the next level. And Martin Maldonado and Dusty Baker backed his dude. Dusty Baker said, what was Martin Maldonado going to do? Let him punk him like that? I mean, I love that. Y'all may not like Dusty, but he sticks by his guys.
Right.
He is a player's coach. So good for you, Dusty. Thank you for standing up for Martin.
Well, I'm not sure if you mentioned this in last night's show, but Martin Maldonado told Marcus Semien after he crossed home plate after a Lowe's home run, he said, "Don't worry." Semien said that the Rangers win that game, and Maldonado said, "No, it's just like when you were in Oakland."
Oh yeah, I discussed that last night with the audience, and I was like, yeah, Martin was talking crap to him, and look, act like you've been there before,
right?
And they didn't. There's no way on a 3-1 pitch when Framber has had the 10 pitches prior to that, can't even hit the strike zone. There's no way that you can think that he intentionally hit Marcus Semien.
Right.
Look, Marcus Semien did the smart thing. He used it as fuel, and he helped lead his team to a victory. That's what you're supposed to do. I hope our guys do the same thing. But the next 3 games in Arlington, when they happen, it's going to be fun.
Yes, but the next series is very critical right now. I know you're trying to catch the Rangers, but also you're kind of trying to catch the Rays. The Rays are 62-43 right now. The Astros are 58-45. You're 3 games behind them. The Rays have a run differential of 141, plus 141. The Astros have a run differential of plus 49. So it's just amazing how the Rays have come back to earth. They are 2-8 in their last few 10 games. The Astros are 7-3. So the Astros are rising as the Rays are falling. And so you have the Red Sox that are starting to catch up to the Rays, and you have the Yankees slowly starting to catch up too. So you have all these teams that were not really out of the race, but had no chance of catching things. But now they're all kind of in the wild card picture. And so the Angels are just 3 games out of the wild card picture.
Right.
Too. So you do have to worry about that as well. But the team that you don't have to worry about is Marcus Semien's old team, which is the A's. They are 29.5 games back of the wild card team.
Yeah, they're a figment of our imagination. The poor White Sox, Royals, and Oakland. Look, at the end of the day, I think the Astros need to get something done pitching wise. I think they just need to do it. Like, why wait until the last minute? Just flip and do it. Just do it. Just overpay or whatever. But they're not going to mortgage the future just to win one. And Dana Brown did say this, and this is important. This is an important note. And I'll wrap up my thoughts on this. He said, because we are positioned to win the next several years and go to the postseason the next several years, there's no reason why we are going to panic and make a move to guarantee that we go to the World Series today and mortgage those 3 or 4 more years that we have. The Angels are in a win now situation. The Angels don't care what they have to give up right now. I'm surprised. I won't be surprised that they don't way overpay for stuff, because they're in a win now situation. They're trying to show Ohtani they can win. I'm afraid it's a little too late, and it's a desperation move on their part.
All right, so the Rays are actually favorites in tomorrow's game. It's Shane McClanahan, who's 11-1 with a 2.89 ERA, versus Christian Javier, who's 7-2 with a 4.32 ERA. Do you know who's leading the Rays in home runs? It's actually
Jose Siri.
Yes, with 20 home runs. That's crazy. Kyle Tucker has 18, leading the Astros. So this will be a big series for the Astros, and I think that whatever team wins this series is going to have a good advantage, not just record-wise, but just momentum-wise. And the Rays really got to get something going, because they're free-falling. The Astros continue to rise. Despite what happened in that last game, you're going to have a clunker every once in a while. That's what that last game was. It was almost a fist fight clunker. That's all it was. Move on.
That's right.
Forget about it. So any closing thoughts?
No, Padres just kick the Rangers' tail, put them in their place, please. And if you put the T upside down and cut off half of it, it shapes an L very conveniently. Why? Because this is the H, baby, and we are all about H-Town madness and seeking out another World Series title. He's Eric Huysman. He's back. He's back from the brink of the Colorado Mountains. Good to have you back, bud. I'm H-Town Wheelhouse. This is your favorite your only Daily Astros podcast. Check us out on Apple, Google, or Spotify, and subscribe to our YouTube channel. Make us your team every single day.
And go Astros! Yeehaw!